We're getting some breaking news coming into the situation right now from about Michael Jackson, the king of pop.
If you want to make the world a better place,
it was a bizarre set of circumstances.
He just made a very bad decision.
Take a look at yourself.
He didn't know who he was. He was a house of cards.
And then make a change.
The breaking news of Michael Jackson's death in 2009 shocked the whole world, leaving his global fans in deep mourning. The truth of his passing seemed questionable, and many struggled to accept that the king of pop was truly gone. Now, 15 years later, his family has revealed an unbelievable truth. Michael Jackson is still alive and thriving at 65. Is the king of pop truly alive? What really happened to him? Join us in this special episode as we expose the mysterious explanation of the supposed demise of the iconic king of pop. Shocking reincarnation of Michael Jackson. June 25, 2009, was a day that will be remembered in the memories of music lovers forever, as the legendary moonwalker was reported to have died untimely at the age of 50, leaving behind a vast multi-million-dollar fortune. The outpouring of grief from fans worldwide, layered with the countless tributes and accolades that followed, only served to cement his status as the undisputed king of pop. Though unbelievable, it is now fact-checked that Michael Jackson is a true phenomenon that transcends time even after he was pronounced dead. His music, legacy, and unforgettable impact on popular culture continue to live on, remaining as vibrant and timeless as his iconic dance moves. Reacting to the news, the Jackson family released a statement expressing their profound sadness and gratitude for the global tributes, while promising to ensure that Michael's music continues to inspire and uplift future generations, that they have managed to uphold diligently till today. Just recently, Katherine Jackson, the mother of the king, broke her silence and revealed some truths that many have long suspected but never confirmed. For years, she's been a figure of quiet dignity, standing by her son's legacy and striving to protect it from the constant barrage of rumors and speculation. She chose to stay silent, to keep certain things within the family out of respect for Michael's memory and the sake of her family's privacy. Before moving into that, do you know that she is not doing this alone? Interestingly, the Jackson family and business brand are working tirelessly together to make this work. Till today, Michael Jackson's official social media handles, most importantly on X and Instagram, with millions of followers, continue to give up-to-date information about the state of Michael's artistic music, which continues to span across global space, maintaining its timeless spots for generations to come. Michael Jackson's 3 children, Prince, Paris, and Biggie, have also played significant roles in preserving their father's legacy. They often share personal anecdotes, rare footage, and behind-the-scenes insights into his life and creative process to further solidify his enduring impact on music and popular culture. Paris Michael Katherine Jackson, the second child and only daughter of Michael Jackson and his second wife, Debbie Rowe, is now a renowned and revered singer just like her father. Not only that, she is also a model and actress. Born on April 3, 1998, the 26-year-old American singer signed a deal with Republic Records, an American record label owned by Universal Music Group, in 2020 and got her first single, Let Down, released on October 29, 2020, with her debut album, Wilted, released on November 13, 2020. She further had subsequent albums to her name, winning different awards in best categories. The older brother, Michael Joseph Jackson, Jr., known as Prince, is the first son and first child of the late pop star. Born through Debbie Rowe on February 13, 1997, in Los Angeles, he was just 12 years old at the time of his father's death. Ever since, Prince stayed out of the public spotlight, like his siblings. But in 2010, he appeared publicly as part of his rare few public appearances at the 2010 Grammy Awards to accept a posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award for their father. However, later in 2013, Prince made his first foray into being a media personality, serving as a guest correspondent for Entertainment Tonight, and expressed his interest in getting more involved in show business, looking forward to becoming well-rounded as a producer, director, screenwriter, and actor. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times in 2016, Prince revealed how music has become a big part of his life, shaped who he is because of his family, and has since childhood determined to go into production. According to him, when his father asked what he wanted to do, he'd always told him about his passion for producing and directing. These he has been working tirelessly towards to achieve. On account of his progress, in June 2023, Prince posted a selfie on Instagram from an apparent production meeting for the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic. He captioned the photo, referring to the production company working on the film GK Films, although the co-executors of the late pop star's estate is involved in the movie. Specifics about Prince's contributions haven't been released, but in his post, he revealed working day and night on the project. On August 29, 2023, Prince Jackson made a rare appearance together with his younger brother, Biggie, for the Michael Jackson 1 show at Las Vegas's Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. As part of the event, which fell on what would have been their late father Michael Jackson's 65th birthday, the brothers hosted a Q&A session. However, though Prince is close with Biggie, he's more commonly seen with their sister, Paris. Just as other Michael's kids, the youngest, Biggie, born on February 21, 2002, as Prince Michael Jackson II, also chose to generally stay out of the spotlight. Born through an unknown surrogate mother, he was just 7 years old when his father died. Right from his childhood, he was nicknamed Blanket by his father as a term of endearment, which is similar to how a blanket is wrapped around a child to keep them warm and cozy. The significance of the nickname is layered around how Michael Jackson felt the name captured the protective and loving nature of their relationship. That's not where we are going, actually, as Prince Michael II Jr. has now stated that he preferred being called Biggie rather than Blanket, which he grew older with. On a more devastating note, sources told People magazine that he had the hardest time of his siblings adjusting after his father's death, but he is now doing well, having focused on grades and sports while in school and spending time with his more than 30 cousins. To the main point of the story, Biggie, in his bid to protect his father's legacy, has grown to become increasingly involved in the management of his father's estate and legacy, including the MJ Music label and other business ventures. Biggie has also been working closely with his siblings, Prince and Paris, to preserve their father's musical and cultural heritage. In addition, he has been involved in various charitable endeavors, which include supporting organizations that align with his father's philanthropic values. Although he has very rare public appearances, as part of the timeless values his father incorporated in him and his siblings from a young age, he continues taking an active role in building on Michael Jackson's legacy, aiming to ensure that his music, message, and impacts continue to inspire and uplift future generations. In 2010, the three siblings gave an interview with Oprah Winfrey, alongside their grandmother Catherine and their cousins, about life after Michael's death. They revealed how plans are being put together for a documentary film entitled Remembering Michael, in remembrance of the deceased pop star. It had been hoped that costs associated with the making of the project would be funded via contributing fans through the crowdfunding site Fund Anything. However, due to the uproar from the fans and media sparked by this method, Catherine decided to shut down the campaign. In a sneak peek of the documentary, Paris remarked that her father had promised to teach her his famous dance move, the moonwalk, but never had the chance. Since the shutdown of the online campaign, no further updates have been reported concerning this project. Now back to the revelation of Catherine Jackson, the mother of the great music legend. The mother's plight. In her bid to set the record straight and offer a fuller picture of who Michael is amidst several trolls and rumors, Catherine Esther Jackson invites us all to see her son, Michael, in a new light and understand the complexities of his existence and the challenges he faced by sharing these intimate aspects of his life. Catherine Jackson, was one of those few who truly understood the weight of the crown that Michael bore. She watched as her son became the king of pop, but also saw the toll it took on him, the endless scrutiny, the pressure to always be perfect, and the loneliness that fame brought. The public saw a man who could do no wrong, a superstar who seemed invincible. But Catherine saw her son struggling to keep it all together. She knew about the sleepless nights, the constant stress, and the deep-seated insecurities that plagued him while the world marveled at Michael's success. Catherine knew that behind every hit song and every sold-out concert was a man who was desperately trying to hold on to a sense of normalcy in a life that was anything but normal. On the Timeless account, Michael Jackson quickly became a global phenomenon with his music transcending borders, languages, and cultures. But as the world watched in awe, there was another side to his story, one that few knew about until now. Michael's life wasn't just about the glitz and glamour that everyone saw on stage or TV. Behind the scenes, there were private battles that he fought, daily battles that only his closest family members were aware of. The mother, being a part of this, stood as a constant source of support and comfort, providing a sense of normalcy and stability in his life. Interestingly, she continues to play a vital role in protecting his privacy and legacy even after his passing. As the matriarch of the Jackson family, Catherine has been instrumental in co-managing Michael's estate, overseeing various projects, protecting her son's children as their legal guardian, and lending helping hands to the children in preserving their hero's artistic and cultural heritage. She has also been a driving force behind the development of the Michael Jackson Museum, which serves as a tribute to his life and career. Today, although aged, she is still working tirelessly to support charitable causes that align with her son's values. Through her efforts, Catherine has helped to keep Michael's memory alive, allowing his fans to continue celebrating his music and legacy as if he were still with us today. But do you know that behind the sparkle and glow of the spotlight, Michael Jackson's early life was a complex rhythm of music and family, discipline and hard work, coupled with dreams and passion? Let's meet the boy who would later become the king of pop amidst all odds. The humble beginning. Michael Jackson was born into a house buzzing with energy, music, and dreams, although there were some little imbalances. You can imagine growing up in a large family of 10 with just a 2-bedroom house, sharing a room with fellow siblings while the other room was occupied by the parents. It was a chaotic but nurturing world for him. Born on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana, Michael Joseph Jackson was one of 8 children, a boy from a humble, working-class Black American family on Jackson Street. Their house was indeed small, but the talent and ambition, coupled with the energy and passion of the family in the entertainment line, filled the air in no time. Joseph Joe Jackson was Michael's father, a man who can be hardly called indulgent. He was a retired boxer of sorts and had been a crane operator at U.S. Steel. He was a hard man at that. However, aside from being a worker, he was also a guitarist for a local rhythm and blues band known as the Falcons. To support his family, he ensured his background was strong. The mother, Catherine, described as the heartbeat of the home, could play the clarinet and the piano with the aspiration to become a country singer. But life took a different turn for her, so she had to take up a part-time job at Sears to help support her family. She was a Jehovah's Witness, a woman of faith who was keeping the family together. Living at Jackson's house was not merely about existence, but also about having something to fight for. Michael had 3 sisters, Rebby, Latoya, and Janet, and 5 brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Randy. Brandon was Marlon's twin, but died during delivery while Marlon was born a few minutes later. Their home, though crowded, was not just with people, but with dreams that were far bigger than their circumstances. The Jackson family dynamics were shaped by a mix of love, discipline, and ambition. In a working-class home, living a modest life, music was always present in the Jackson home, and not surprisingly, It became a way for the family to bond and escape the hardships of their daily lives. With Catherine's gentle encouragement, she was able to foster a love of music in her children. But the father, Joe Jackson, took the love to a more serious level. Joe's approach to parenting was intense. He believed in hard work and discipline and expected nothing less than perfection from his children. You can picture the kind of consistent discipline that is being put in place to achieve his aim. However, that doesn't mean he was wicked. The father's strictness was just for a sole purpose: to shape the lives of his children to the best stage. This, unknown to him, created an environment of fear and pressure that later had a lasting impact on Michael. While having band rehearsals, the band created by Joe to push the musical talents of his children, it was most times grueling as mistakes were not tolerated. Michael and his siblings would spend hours practicing their songs and routines under Joe's watchful eye, knowing that any slip-up could result in harsh punishment. In no time, the Jackson family's musical talents started to gain attention. Fast forward to 1964. Young Michael, at age 6, along with his brother Marlon, stepped into the world of music and joined the Jackson Brothers band formed by their father. They began performing at local venues, gaining a reputation for their energetic performances and tight harmonies. Joe Jackson's relentless push for perfection paid off when the band's electrifying performances caught the attention of Motown Records, one of the most influential labels in the music industry at the time. The Jackson brothers got signed with Motown, a pivotal deal that earned their ticket out of Gary, Indiana, into the national spotlight. Subsequently, Michael started emerging as the star of the group, captivating audiences with his voice and electrifying dance moves on the stage. By 1965, Michael began sharing lead vocals with his elder brother, Jermaine. With their building fame, the Jackson brothers rebranded as the Jackson 5. That same year, the group won a talent show where Michael performed the dance to Robert Parker's 1965 song, Barefootin', and sang The Temptations' My Girl. From 1966 to 1968, the Jacksons 5 toured the Midwest, frequently playing at a string of black clubs known as the Chitlin Circuit, as the opening act for artists such as Sam and Dave, the O'Jays, Gladys Knight, and Etta James. The Jackson 5 also performed at clubs and cocktail lounges where striptease shows were featured, and at local auditoriums and high school dances. In August 1967, while touring the East Coast, they won a weekly amateur night concert at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Surprisingly, this win wasn't just a trophy for them. It was their ticket to the big leagues. Back in their hometown of Gary, they recorded their first single, Big Boy, with Steeltown Records in 1968. But the real game changer was when Bobby Taylor, from Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers, discovered them and brought them to Motown. Unknown to them, Motown was the dream, the big break they'd been waiting for. Bobby Taylor of Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers brought the Jackson 5 to Motown after they opened for Taylor at Chicago's Regal Theater in 1968. He produced some of their early Motown recordings, including a version of Who's Lovin' You. After signing with Motown, the Jackson family bid farewell to Gary, Indiana, and relocated to Los Angeles, where they were about to become superstars. In 1969, Motown executives decided Diana Ross should introduce the Jackson 5 to the public, partly to bolster her career in television while sending off what was considered Motown's last product of its production line. This opportunity gave the Jackson 5 their first appearance on television in 1969 in the Miss Black America pageant, where they performed a cover of It's Your Thing. With their performance that captivated a wide audience, Michael quickly emerged as the main draw and lead singer, while Rolling Stone, the American monthly magazine, later described the young Michael as a prodigy with overwhelming musical gifts. Michael, just a kid, was already stealing the show. In January 1970, their single, I Want You Back, shot to #1 on the US Billboard Hot 100. But it never ended there. 3 more singles, ABC, The Love You See, and I'll Be There, released subsequently also topped the chart. With fame and fortune rolling in, The Jacksons were on fire now and then, breaking barriers and reaching audiences of all backgrounds. Consequently, they upgraded their living situation and moved to a lavish estate in Encino, California in 1971. You can imagine how far they went from a small bungalow with 2 bedrooms into a huge 2-acre estate. Determination and consistency, thanks to their father's training. During this period, Michael developed from a child performer into a teen idol. What can you say about the thrill of a young Michael moonwalking his way into the hearts of audiences while dancing to Robert Parker's Barefoot and belting out My Girl by the Temptations? Isn't that extraordinarily out of the world? Michael wasn't just a performer, he was a phenomenon. Another thing that made him loved by all was how unpredictable he was. Legend of the pop legends. Already electrifying the stage with his signature moves and soulful voice, Michael Jackson began foreshadowing a legendary career that would redefine pop culture. Something just keeps pushing him to keep doing uncommon things. You'll agree that someone who grew up with severe musical training in attaining perfection in his music, not to mention the fear of making avoidable mistakes, was someone who'd only have to push himself up for nothing but the best of all results. From a young age, Michael felt the sting of his father's strict discipline, literally and emotionally, leading him to a point of relentless pursuit of perfection. He was driven to constantly innovate and push the boundaries of music, dance, and artistry to a level that is extraordinary. This aim ultimately transformed him into a global icon and a master of his craft. As Michael had already taken the reins as the Jackson 5's main songwriter, creating hits like Shake Your Body, Down to the Ground, and Can You Feel It? He decided to try something new and go solo. As a result, he released 4 solo albums between 1972 and 1975. Got to Be There, Ben, Music and Me, and Forever Michael, with the first 2 solos, Got to Be There and Ben, selling well as singles. You can imagine a song about a rat becoming a chart-topping hit. It can only be the great pop star to pull that off, by the way. Ben won a Golden Globe for Best Song and was also nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song in 1973. In 1977, Michael Jackson moved to New York City to star as the Scarecrow in the musical film The Wiz, alongside Diana Ross. Though the movie didn't break box office records, it led to something unexpected but resourceful, a collaboration with Quincy Jones, who ended up producing 3 of Michael's most legendary solo albums. During his time in New York, he frequented the Studio 54 nightclub, where he listened to early hip-hop that influenced his beatboxing on future tracks, such as Working Day and Night. In 1979, he produced his 5th solo album, Off the Wall, which established him fully as a solo performer and helped him move from the bubblegum pop of his youth to more complex sounds. The album produced 4 top 10 entries in the US: Off the Wall, She's Out of My Life, and the chart-topping singles Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You. The album reached number 3 on the US Billboard 200 and sold over 20 million copies worldwide. Intriguing, right? That's not all. Unrelenting, he released further back-to-back hit singles, maintaining his spotlight as unbeatable. His exceptional music earned him 3 American Music Awards in 1980 for his solo work: Favorite Soul R&B Album, Favorite Soul R&B Male Artist, and Favorite Soul R&B Single for Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. At its peak, he also won a Grammy Award for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance for the same album. In the same year, he secured the highest royalty rate in the music industry, 37% of wholesale album profit. In 1981, Jackson was the American Music Awards winner for Favorite Soul R&B Album and Favorite Soul R&B Male Artist. Although he felt Off the Wall should have made a bigger impact and was determined to exceed expectations with his next release. Before we knew it, Michael was already jamming with none other than Queen's Freddie Mercury from 1981 to 1983. The duo recorded demos like State of Shock, Victory, and There Must Be More to Life Than This. These tracks were supposed to be part of a killer duet album, but things got weird along the way. The relationship soured when Jackson brought a llama into the recording studio. You can imagine Freddie's surprise when he did that. However, on the other hand, Jackson was also not thrilled by Mercury's drug use either. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. In late 1982, Michael Jackson released his sixth album, Thriller, which turned out to be the best-selling album worldwide in 1983, the best-selling album of all time in the US, and the best-selling album of all time worldwide, selling an estimated 70 million copies. Wow, that's huge. Here is where it will shock you the most. Can you believe the album topped the Billboard 200 chart for 37 weeks and was in the top 10 of the 200 for 80 consecutive weeks? This is one of a kind feat that has ever been recorded on the chart. Thriller was the first album to produce 7 Billboard Hot 100 top 10 singles, including Billie Jean, Beat It, and Wanna Be Startin' Something. Michael Jackson's solo performance of Billie Jean earned him his first Emmy Award nomination. Wearing a glove decorated with rhinestones, he debuted his moonwalk dance, which Jeffrey Daniel, an American dancer and choreographer, had taught him 3 years earlier, thus becoming his signature dance in his repertoire. At the 26th Annual Grammy Awards, Thriller won 8 awards, and Jackson won an award for the extraterrestrial storybook. Winning 8 Grammys in one ceremony is a record he holds with the band Santana to date. As that is not all, at the 11th Annual American Music Awards in 1984, Michael Jackson was the big winner of the night as he won another 8 awards to his credit, thereby becoming the youngest artist to win the Award of Merit. He was already 29 years old. After the release of an extended music video titled Michael Jackson's Thriller, where he was seen dancing with a horde of zombies, Thriller's sales doubled, and the success transformed him into a dominant force in global pop culture. At that point, he already had the highest royalty rate in the music industry, with about $2 for every album sold, and was making record-breaking profits. According to the New York Times, in the world of pop music, there is Michael Jackson, and there is everybody else. That phrase alone is a testament to his unparalleled impact, influence, and enduring legacy as the undisputed king of pop. Despite his solo success, Michael stayed close to his brothers. Quite fascinating, yeah? That could be linked to the level at which he valued family and the bond they shared through music. In November 1983, Jackson and his brothers partnered with PepsiCo in a $5 million promotional deal that broke records for a celebrity endorsement. The first Pepsi campaign, which ran in the United States from 1983 to 1984 and launched its New Generation theme, included tour sponsorship, public relations events, and in-store displays. He helped to create the advertisement and suggested using his song Billie Jean with revised lyrics as its jingle. Although he later had endorsements and advertising deals with other companies such as LA Gear, Suzuki, and Sony, none were as significant as his deals with Pepsi. But something unexpected happened afterward. In 1984, the Jackson brothers, rebranded for the third time as the Jacksons, had the Victory Tour, where they showcased Michael Jackson's new solo material to more than 2 million Americans. But unfortunately, it was the last tour he did with his brothers. To the shock of millions of fans, during the last concert of the Victory Tour at the Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, Michael Jackson announced his split from the Jacksons during the Shake Your Body performance. However, there was a rumor of a controversy over the concert's ticket sales, which as a result made Michael donate his share of the proceeds, an estimated $3 to $5 million, to charity. But here is the biggest break. In 1985, the pop legend co-wrote a charity single with Lionel Richie, a famous songwriter and record producer. The single track was the timeless We Are the World, that is, till today, spanning across the globe. The sole purpose of the song release was to raise money for the poor in the US and Africa. On a good note, it earned $63 million and became one of the best-selling singles of all time, with 20 million copies sold. Not only that, It also won 4 Grammy Awards in 1985, including Song of the Year for Jackson and Ritchie. However, there come the prices for fame and glamour. An unexpected turn of events, more of dark torment he nursed till he took his last breath, beyond the moonwalk. Everyone knows that Michael Jackson's skin had been medium brown from his youth, but in the mid-1880s, there was this unexpected change in his face. Noticeably, he gradually started growing paler, and the change drew widespread media coverage, including speculation that he had been bleaching his skin. However, his dermatologist, Arnold Klein, noted that it was observed in 1983 that Michael Jackson had vitiligo, a condition characterized by patches of the skin losing their pigment. Also, he added that he diagnosed Jackson with lupus that year and vitiligo in 1986. Consequently, he started using fair-colored makeup and possibly skin-bleaching prescription creams to cover up the uneven blotches of color caused by the illness. The creams would depigment the blotches, and with the application of makeup, he could appear very pale. In his 1988 autobiography and a 1993 interview, Jackson confessed he had 2 rhinoplasty surgeries and a cleft chin surgery, but no more than that. According to him, he lost weight in the early 1980s because of a change in diet to achieve a dancer's body. Sadly, periods of weight loss became a recurring problem later in his life. Among others was the rumor of him sleeping in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber to slow aging, which was denied publicly. Also, it was reported that he took female hormone shots to keep his voice high and facial hair wispy, had a shrine for Elizabeth Taylor after proposing to her, and had cosmetic surgery on his eyes. But Jackson's manager, Frank DiLeo, denied all of them. Just when we thought it had ended, the most shocking sprung up unexpectedly. Fast forward. In August 1993, Michael Jackson was accused of child sexual abuse by a 13-year-old boy, Jordan Chandler, and his father, Evan Chandler. Jordan claimed he was engaged in acts of kissing, masturbation, and oral sex with Michael. Jordan's mother initially told police that she did not believe Jackson had molested him, but her position wavered a few days later. However, while the pop legend argued that he only fell victim to a jealous father trying to extort money, he got the most shocking backlash from where he least expected. Can you imagine this? Jackson's older sister, LaToya, literally accused him of being a pedophile. Although she later retracted this, saying she had been forced into it by her abusive husband, the damage had already been done. The allegations, sparking a media firestorm, tend to haunt Michael Jackson for the rest of his life. It led to a highly publicized trial and a devastating impact on his career and personal life, leaving him a lingering shadow of himself. On account of the allegations, his home was raided in August, and the police found 2 legal large-format art books featuring young boys playing, running, and swimming in various states of undress. However, he denied knowing of the book's content. To worsen the case, Jordan Chandler gave police a description of Jackson's genitals, and a strip search was made, but in the end, the description was not a match. Later in January 1994, Jackson settled with the Chandlers out of court for a reported total sum of $23 million. Although the police never pressed criminal charges, citing a lack of evidence without Jordan's testimony, the state closed its investigation on September 22, 1994. Initially, Jackson had been taking painkillers for his reconstructive scalp surgeries, administered due to the Pepsi commercial accident in 1984, but he later became dependent on them to cope with the stress of the sexual abuse allegations. On November 12, 1993, he canceled the remainder of the Dangerous World Tour due to health problems, stress from the allegations, and painkiller addiction. However, he penned a note of thanks to his close friend Elizabeth Taylor for support, encouragement, and counsel. In late 1995, Jackson was admitted to a hospital after collapsing during rehearsals for a televised performance caused by a stress-related panic attack. But he didn't stop making unstoppable moves in his career. From October 1997 to September 2001, Jackson worked on his 10th solo album, Invincible, which cost $30 million to record, making it the most expensive album of all time. And on January 9, 2002, he won his 22nd American Music Award for Artist of the Century. His problem didn't end, as he was again charged with several counts of child molestation and other charges in 2003, but he denied all allegations and pleaded not guilty. In 2005, he was acquitted on all counts, but the FBI found no evidence of criminal conduct against him. After the trial, Jackson became reclusive, but still managed to create and release new music, while his public appearances and performances became increasingly rare. He spent most of his time at his Neverland Ranch, where he was struggling to rebuild his career and reputation until his untimely death in 2009. What did you miss about the legendary King of Pop? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos like this.